According to Kevin Callahan, Diddy Kong Racing Wii U was nearly finished. I wonder where Nintendo is hiding it. I used to hide my monkey stuff under my mattress.
Hello and welcome to the Kongversation. We're so happy to have you. I'm Hyle Russell.
What? I'm Chad McAnna.
I'm trying to be very positive this week, Chad.
You start off the episode with a lie? How dare you?
No, I want to radiate positivity this week because last week apparently some people at the DK Vine forum said I seemed
you don't
combatant,
those aren't real
combative,
people.
and
They're
hostile.
Not real people.
What do you mean they're real people? They're our most ardent followers and fans.
Yeah, no.
They're the realest. They're the realest people in this weird little bubble we inhabit.
Yeah. They're the most
never been a better time to.
Never
been a better time to join.
Yeah. So, that was because we recorded like first thing in the morning, and I think we got notes that our rapport was off, and you got several people saying that you were acting hostile.
Hostile and anti-religion. So.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you went on a screed last time.
I wasn't even a screed. I just said. I just said. I disagree with the notion that priests should, diddle kids.
I think all you did was actually acknowledge that there was a molestation scandal in the Catholic Church. So how dare you state a fact?
And then, look.
We're really starting this one off right, aren't we? Like, what? We're immediately courting controversy for no reason right now.
No, we're addressing last week's controversy. I don't think we were too harsh, and I always temper it with my secular worldview that's agnostic more than anything. So it's not like I'm anti anything.
Yeah, but this is one of those. I mean, we have thousands of listeners, and this was like a vocal minority of 2. We don't need to derail the opening minutes of our next episode for this.
Well, I just wanted to apologize for coming across as
don't apologize because you did nothing wrong. Don't apologize when you didn't do anything.
I was grouchy last week. I was very grouchy last week.
I thought it was fine, and I was the one you were being grouchy toward.
Look, I rolled out of bed, and there was a Catholic priest next to me, and that just put me in a bad mood.
Yep.
So
it happens to the best of us.
It just gets in the way of my Donkey Kong podcasting.
Anyway,
apologies, and I love all religions and faiths and everybody. Everybody's great.
All right, well, Hyle, I need you to say 20 Hail Marys and give up a rosary, and then I believe your transgressions of the past week will be absolved. Okay.
I thought this was a glory hole, but apparently it's a confession booth. So.
That's right.
Sorry.
I have one built into my apartment.
I think that might be a glory hole.
Oh, no. So that's why the rent's so cheap.
In the gritty reboot of the Mario Brothers, it's going to be a glory hole that Mario and Luigi fall through in Brooklyn rather than a war pipe.
Okay, well, I really don't want to know where they end up after that.
Toad sticks his dick through. Hi!
Okay.
All right, I'm done.
Do you okay, so you apologized for being grouchy, but do you remember what got us there? That you were being vile?
I just made a Toad joke. Look, I'm proud of my Toad impression. That's one of the few impressions I do well. Mm-hmm. So, you know what? Let me have that one. Please, Chad.
Okay.
I'm jealous of all of your funny voices. Your Paul McCartney's and your Donald Trump.
My Paul McCartney, which is literally a syllable.
Well, I think we need to do and this is a term.
I'm not doing it. No, my throat. We recorded some lines for our friend Alistair Craig before we started this episode, and it destroyed my vocal cords. So I'm not doing my due diligence.
By recording lines for Alistair, it makes it sound like we did like lines of coke for him, like in tribute or something. Like
there is no drug on planet Earth that you can do with the verb recording.
I don't know if you.
I just recorded some PCP. That doesn't work.
You could take a recorder, the little plastic instruments that elementary school children,
learn in
use,
grade.
right, and use that to snort lines of coke. I'm sure it's been done.
I don't think Mary Had a Little Lamb has been played faster.
I know, man. Anyway, so so we're not going to do and this is a term coined by our own Nick Parole, the due diligence.
Nah, that's all right. I'm kind of done with that bit of due diligence. So yeah, because it was brought to light that no, like people don't understand.
It was brought to light by Matt, one person. Again, you accuse me of taking a very small minority opinion and overblowing it. You're doing the same with Matt's opinion.
Well, because on this one, I know that Matt is a huge Beatles fan, and he didn't understand the kind of thing, so we had to explain that, like, that at a certain point, especially listening to Paul's solo career, Heil and I had an in-joke that essentially anytime he wants to fill the silence, he just goes doo, which he does a lot more in his...
It's not just us that observe that. There's, like, McCartney, impersonators who accentuate the doo.
Oh, are there really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So I guess that's like the funny-shaped nose that a caricature artist would do when you're doing an impression. Yeah.
And we explained it to Matt, and now he gets it. So the joke's on. That's my opinion.
Okay.
If we explain a joke, it becomes funnier.
So Rare Replay
That's the way comedy works. That's the way comedy works.
All right. Let's. There's a hotline number.
Okay. Yeah. Let's do the non-due diligence. Let's just do the George Harrison presents due diligence. So we've got
the last testament of the Kongversation. Now that's an extremely in joke. There was a Netflix doc.
No, it's not just a Netflix doc. It's out on DVD.
Okay.
The Last Testament, the Last Will and Testament, or something of George Harrison.
Right.
And then they made a follow up. Elvis is Alive.
And that's a guy who does a fairly shit George Harrison impression, and it's supposedly like a deathbed recording of George Harrison.
Yeah, these documentaries are put out by this wingnut whose other documentaries are all anti-Obama in nature. And these are apparently supposed to be mockumentaries. I looked into it, and he's not actually serious about it. But
oh, really?
Go figure, right?
Oh, I don't know. I feel like that's the Tommy Wiseau defense.
No. I would. Have you watched Elvis Found Alive or whatever it's called? Or
no,
Elvis is Alive.
But I have watched about 20 minutes of The Last Testament of George Harrison.
I've actually got.
It's such a bad impression.
I've actually got the DVD of the Elvis one in the trunk of my car for some reason right now. I would recommend watching that for a good laugh.
Do you intend to become a traveling salesman for a very specific niche market?
The economy's in a rough shape right now. I gotta do what I gotta do, man, to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Anyway. So, good Lord. The DK Vine hotline. If you want to call and get us to talk about something that's actually related to the show, you can call 1-281-410-KONG. That's 5664. Also, you can join the DK Vine forum and derail the first 5 minutes of the show by critiquing us. That's dkvine.com/forum. There's never been a better time to derail the show.
It's actually been a lot of fun on the forum lately, with Rare Replay being out in the world.
I like how every time we plug the forum, we say, actually, it's really good right now.
Well, I mean, honestly, it is
there's
kind
no consistency. There's no consistency because it seems like the implication is that just prior to us plugging it, the forum was really, really bad, but it's turned itself around.
You might even say it's a one of those comedic elements. And its comedy is derived through repetition.
Okay, here's the thing, Chad. Now that you explained the joke to me, I find it hilarious.
Yeah, okay. I can tell by all of your laughter.
I'm laughing on the inside, and also the incontinence. That you can't see that, but there's a lot of incontinence right now.
I've found that, like, when I'm by myself, I almost never actually laugh unless something just, like, hits me at the core. And
that's called being a sociopath, Chad.
I think that honestly, what worries me is that I feel like I may value cleverness more than actual humor.
Which is why you're an Arrested Development fan.
Yeah. Like, if it doesn't make me laugh, that's okay, as long as I know the writer felt really good about it.
Yeah. Which is why our comedy writing has suffered, because it's all about that smug satisfaction rather than actually eliciting laughter.
I will tell the listeners, we're writing the dialogue in Lobo Destroyo, and thankfully we are fairly self-aware of this kind of cleverness predilection. So we've actively had to rewrite missions where we just get we go so far up our own like self-satisfying, unnecessarily clever, erudite assholes that like we have to be like, okay, no, we can't do that.
Okay, here's the thing about our writing process, Chad.
Yeah,
and we've talked about this off the air. And actually in a real life conversation we had just the other day.
We don't have those anymore. It's always save it for the show.
Well, this was a DK Vine staff meeting, so.
Yes,
but you edit me. We edit each other. You edit me primarily to tone down my vile nature.
Yeah.
Because vile rhymes with Heil, and I'm just, naturally inclined to make horrific cobcock poetry where people get impaled with large phallic
The less said
objects.
about this year's Cobcock Day feature, the better.
You can find it on our website. But
Jesus.
Anyway, so you help me. You help bring me down to a R rating rather than just however many X's you want to get into my humor. And I help you get out of your own ass with the erudite references and that aren't actually funny. You're just referencing something to prove that you.
No. They're not always references. There's a lot of wordplay, like that, and
I love wordplay though,
and a lot of
wordplay.
computer science jokes.
Yeah, the computer science ones. That's like there's a reason like Futurama limits that to background gags and not actually this is the brunt of the joke.
Oh, that's not true. They actually proved a mathematical theorem in one episode that was like the A plot.
Yeah, but that wasn't the joke though.
I don't know. I would argue that like a good 25% of Futurama's like math and science and technology jokes are fairly integral to the plot.
But they also pepper in the poop jokes to keep it accessible, and that's what we need to do.
They literally power their starship with poop.
All right, so poop is funny. Just remember that.
Yep.
So anyway, subscribe to the Scintillating Conversation on iTunes. You can also rate us on iTunes. Please be kind. Follow DK Vine on Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, YouTube, and sometimes Instagram.
It's the vowel of blah, blah, blah. No,
it is
the
vowel of social media, yes.
Instagram, which, by the way, those A-E-I-O-U are all vowels, so it's the Y of social media.
Okay.
Yeah, that line from TED Talks always bugged me, but it's out there in the world. There's nothing to be done about it. It's just going to drive me mad until the grave.
A personal matter of pride for me, since I'm the one who runs the Facebook, you're the one who runs the Twitter, you're the one hobnobbing with the stars, I'm the one down there in the trenches with the people.
You are the populist in that you've just passed the 37,000
I wanted to
threshold.
I wanted to brag about that. 37,000 followers on our Facebook page. So never been a better time to subscribe to.
Oh, Jesus. See, I don't do this with the Twitter. I'm like, hey, yeah, follow me if you want. Actually, it's a lot of fun. You should follow. Whatever. See, whatever. Also, we want
you're
to.
Humble.
We want
you're
to.
A humble guy, Chad.
Yeah, I'm real humble. Yeah, I'm one of the common men. Yep. Let's talk about the DQ comics by Nick Prohl, aka Spuzzwick.
The aforementioned Nick Prohl. We realized we should start plugging this on the show because it's something he does almost every week. He's got a new job right now, so it's kind of, I think, eaten into his DK Vine time. But he's very diligent about getting out these comics.
You're affecting a Conan O'Brien patois. It's affecting his DK Bryan time.
Yeah. Stay cool, my babies. Ow. DKU Comics is great. He just started. See, I can't roll my R's like that.
You would make a horrible Spaniard.
Is that racist? I can't tell.
No, it's not racist. I'm making a joke about one element of the Spanish language.
I know, but Spaniard just seems like such an ugly racial slur.
Well, the first thing that came to mind was Mexican, and for some reason, that one is an even more commonly misinterpreted as pejorative. Nationality. So
we're not allowed to say Mexican.
Yeah, well, I think the Office made a joke about that, where Michael didn't want to call Oscar a Mexican.
I think 30 Rock made a joke about that too, when Jack was dating Salma Hayek and she was Puerto Rican, and
there was a lot of suspicious Office 30 Rock joke overlap in those few years.
Yeah, I mean, it was that nexus of NBC Thursdays, that golden era of television.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, DKU Comics. It's every Sunday or almost every Sunday. Sometimes Nick's got to take the week off to rest his pretty little head. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah, what are you doing? Why are you throwing Nick under the bus? Just look at the comic. It's good.
I'm not throwing him under the bus. These are like excellent comics, and I told him when he started, don't burn yourself out. Take a break when you need it.
Why are you getting into this? Just promote the fucking comic and move on.
Because I don't want to be accused of being a liar when I say it's every Sunday, and sometimes it's not every Sunday.
No, for the most part, it is. I mean, he just started a new series with Honker the Skunk. It's hilarious. It's weekly, every Sunday. DKU Comics. Let's move on.
Check it out. It's on DK Vine.
Thank you. That's all you got to do.
I'm terrible about plugging anything, really, I guess. Yeah.
Hey, lads.
Hey, lads.
So
indeed.
let's, of course, we're going to get to Rare Replay. I have spent more time in Rare Replay than I have on, like, any video game in ages. And I've barely scratched the surface, but I can't wait to dig into that. First, though, we have a few phone calls that are almost certainly Rare Replay related, because that's the only thing going on in the world right now.
That's true. At the presidential debate, the GOP debates, that's all they talked about.
Yeah, Donald Trump had some choice words to say about Digger T. Rock.
Yep. Okay, let's take those
why
calls.
He wants to build a wall. They're digging under our borders. I know it's not a popular opinion. Wait.
Yeah.
All right, let's listen to calls.
Hey,
Oh no.
Oh, really? All right, fine. What else?
No, I was gonna have a.
That was Mamechi, by the way. Clearly.
No, never mind. I was going to try to make some sort of joke about a tick attack, because it kind of sounds like attic, and Mike Huckabee was going to say that Obama's making Israelis hide in the attic, but it doesn't really work. So Mitchie's call.
Wait, so you not only had like a horribly offensive racist joke, but it was about a third baked, and you made us go back so that you could work your way through it, only to realize that it didn't actually work.
It sounded great in my head, but Chad, why didn't you edit that? I mean, it's your job to edit these things and wipe them from the record.
Oh no, I don't edit anything anymore.
Oh, well, that's why the quality is taking a nosedive on this show. Let's take Mamechi's call, shall we?
Shall we?
Hey, it's me again, Mamechi.
Oh boy.
And I have a very serious question today. So, at the time of this call, Rare Replay just came out, and, you know, we're all enjoying it on the forums and stuff, but talking about it to any of my friends, I bring them all. Rare Replay came out, I'm playing this new game. Collection, I guess, but whenever I mention it to someone who's not really a Rare fan, they suddenly go, oh, well, all the good guys at Rare left. Well, why should I care?
Oh, boy.
And, you know, that kind of thing. Why is there so much negativity towards everything that Rare does? Like, yeah, Platonic is good. Like, all those people who say these things are also Platonic fans, I notice, who support everything that they do, but they take a crap on whatever Rare says. And I'm kind of sick of it. I really am. And I guess I'd like to know what...
By the way, I'm pausing the call right now just to let the listeners know that we're at the halfway point on this one, so buckle in. There's much more Mamechi to come right now.
We should just start selling Mamechi seatbelts for our listeners, like, so they can actually buckle in whenever there's a Mamechi call, because, you know, people are going to be thrown about wildly when they listen to these, you know.
Right,
it's a thrill ride.
Let's finish.
I guess I would like to know what I could say to them to disprove their Rare sucks now. Their Rare sucks now. Ideology. Because,
like a religion.
Like I said, I'm getting really sick of hearing everyone, and I mean everyone, talk crap about Rare. Speaking of which, in any case, for you guys, and hope you guys are enjoying Rare Replay. And I hope you guys don't have to deal with the same kind of, I won't call them assholes, but same kind of, just uneducated people who hate on Rare for no reason. Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you for the call, Mamechi.
I like that last little sigh of, yeah, he had so much anger boiling over that it just came out in that.
Honestly, I've never heard him more furious than
No,
in that call.
I feel you, Mamechi. I poke fun at you because I love you.
And when I say thank you, I'm not being cute. I'm
a smug asshole. Yeah,
I'm very happy that you called. And this was a good question.
I feel you. I feel you because
yeah.
It's something we've talked about a multitude of times this season on the Kongversation, and yeah, it's a problem. It's a problem that all the optimism we had and still have for Rare spinning out of E3. We knew we would have to face this reality again of this weird perception problem that's been brought on by various factors over the years. It's just a perfect storm of turning people against Rare.
I think it's part of it though is not even actual events at Rare, but there's been this like media narrative in the quote unquote games media that's really driven a lot of and then YouTube
what I mean
personalities have solidified it because they are the new tastemakers.
What I mean by perfect storm is all of those forces kind of combined to turn against Rare for various different political reasons. Whether you're a Nintendo hardliner and suddenly you have to disavow Rare and everything about Rare because they're now with the enemy, and you've got then the people who are just anti-Microsoft in general. You got all this various things, and yes, YouTube personalities who will go nameless, but
JonTron. It's JonTron.
Okay, I was trying to be diplomatic.
I'm editing this one, and I'm not going to edit that out.
No, I don't care if you do. I mean, that
you've made me edit it out in the past, though.
No, I've made you edit out other things, but no, I'm fine with that.
I'm sure JonTron is great, and the only thing is he says things facetiously, and a large component of his audience take them as gospel and run forth into the world with these malformed jokes as actual opinion that they crystallize into like public consciousness fact, and that's a big reason why we get where we are.
I don't know if I mentioned this when I reserved Rare Replay at GameStop, which the guy even brought it up. I was like, "Oh, did you see JonTron's video about nuts and bolts?" Mm-hmm. And I was just like, I'm not really a fan. And that he dropped it after that, but I was just like, really? Even like reserving the fucking game at retail chain?
YouTube celebrities are now they're pretty ubiquitous out there.
Oh no, I know. I'm not dismissing. It's new media, baby. I'm all for it, but it disheartens me that people just take it at face value. People need to have critical opinions on their own, and hey, look, I use things like Rotten Tomatoes to preform an opinion about a movie. It's like,
well, that's an aggregator, though. You can be more reasonably assured of that or Metacritic than a single opinion, right? Which is, by the way, couched in comedy, so it's hyperbole, which is what JonTron trades in, which is great, and a lot of his stuff is fantastic. It's just people don't see it for what it is; they see it as something more than that.
Right, but then I also fall prey to it. Like, let's say if somebody I really trust their opinion of, like Mike from Red Letter Media, if he says an opinion on a movie before I see it, I'll generally probably side with him, which is why I try not to watch their reviews before I see a movie I'm interested in. Mm-hmm. I totally understand why people are swayed by JonTron, like the Pied Piper he is. But
yeah,
it's and he's not the only one to blame. Like this was in the culture well before JonTron cemented it.
Right. That's what I'm saying though. Like it went from basically Nintendo fanboy backlash to that being sort of solidified in the game's journalism sphere.
Well, and also
then that sort of fed into what now passes for a big portion of games journalism, which is YouTube celebrities.
But also the whole culture of video games kind of changed right around the time of the buyout. The rise of the dude bros, the whole, the Beijing of video games, if you want to, the removal of color, the death of 3D platformers, the rise of the Call of Duties, it just, AAA titles, everything kind of changed around that time. Again, perfect storm where Rare was suddenly no longer the kings, or at least viewed as the kings that they were in the late 90s. So,
right. And a lot of that was, Rare was like perpetually a generation behind due to the sale happening when it did, like midway through a console generation. And, and they also had some fault. Yeah, and they had some pain adjusting to larger scale game development, as opposed to the 15-person teams of the N64 era where they could have like 4 or 5 projects going on at once. So
Memechi, Memechi, I don't know what you can tell your friends and associates who had this opinion of Rare, but I will give you a little bit of hope.
Well, I can give him some advice though. Hold on to your hope. Well, it was a bit audacious.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Sarah Palin. I'll just keep my hopey changey thing over here until you're ready.
All right. So I would confront them with a little bit of logic, because there's the line that everyone good at Rare left to form Free Radical, to form Playtonic. There are multiple points at which everyone good at Rare supposedly left, and we've talked about this before. Basically say, Free Radical, what was that, 2002? Like when the buyout happened?
I think it was before. I think in 2001.
Really?
Maybe.
Okay.
It was right after Perfect Dark came out.
Okay,
pretty
sure.
sure.
That would have been that. So, despite that, then there were, a number of fantastic games that came out. Flash forward a decade, Playtonic is formed. And this just happened in the last, basically year. And yet, Robin Beanland, Greg Mayles, plenty of people are still at Rare that were back there in the heyday. Peter Hensey, there are plenty of legacy employees that didn't leave to form Free Radical, that didn't leave to form Playtonic, and I'm sure that there's going to be another collaborative effort by Rare employees in the future, and that'll be the new point where everyone good at Rare left. It's become this rolling claim that doesn't hold up.
Chad, the people who say everybody good at Rare left, they don't know who Greg Mayles is. They don't know, who Peter Hensey is. They don't care. To them, it's just this notion. And
it's a catchphrase.
It's a catchphrase. It's this belief, and you can't sway them with facts. Some people are beyond hope at this point, and you just have to focus on getting younger generations to get on your side. Because
I don't know about that, though. I would say if you can't sway them with facts, I would honestly, Memechi, show them Rare Replay. It is such a high-quality product.
Well, here's the thing. Why are they shit-talking Rare Replay? If everybody good at Rare left, these are the games that they made when all the good people were there, And
I would say, the stuff that hangs the games together, the snapshots, just the presentation of Rare Replay, just the fidelity of the games, that right there is proof enough that there are still so many talented people at Rare. It's a straw man argument, and it just doesn't hold up.
Can I give my hope now?
Yeah. What's your hope
for the future? Okay, so running the running the Facebook page. Maybe you've seen it on Twitter, but also keeping our ear to the ground. Running DK Vine, just being at, in this bubble that we've surrounded ourselves with. In the last several months, I would say since spring, there has been just this groundswell of love building for Rare. And I
even
see
before
it,
E3.
Even before E3. I mean,
wow.
Playtonic really helped spur that on, But even then, it was kind of shrouded in that negativity.
Yeah.
But since E3, so many people have come out of the woodwork to be pro Rare and to wear their Rare fandom on their sleeves again. And I think we're going to get, hopefully, younger fans who are going to try out Rare Replay and discover all of these great games, or just fans who never got into Rare in the first place. And, I think that everything comes back around again, and Rare kind of fell out of favor when the whole culture shifted. But nostalgia is a powerful thing. It can be good and it can be bad, and we're finally getting around to nostalgia for things from the 90s again, mid-90s to late 90s, and that stuff is cool again. And once nostalgia kicks back in, it never really goes away again. So I think we're hitting this point where Rare, it's less in vogue to bash Rare than it is to crib a Fatboy Slim's line, to praise it like you should. And I would say just hang in there, because I think the tide is definitely turning. It doesn't happen overnight, but I think that we're in the dying days of this bullshit propaganda about what makes Rare, and if all the good people left, if Rare was overrated, if that's all almost in the past.
Yeah, it's strange that finally now, like, late 90s nostalgia is kicking in, as you said, and that's really where you and I, like, we formed this website in the late 90s. We to me, that's when I was like the most keyed into gaming in this whole world, and replaying some of the games in Rare Replay from that era, which we'll get into in a little bit. It's been like the strongest, like, nostalgia, just brain piercing thing I've ever experienced. Like,
for me, it's not even nostalgic, because I've never left this world. It's just like, I'm
speaking of specifically Jet Force Gemini, which it's been a long time, and it's not technically a DKU game, so it's just been in my very fond memories. But oh my god.
I'll probably be nostalgic when I give Blast Core another whirl, because that's a game I only, like, rented from Blockbuster. I never actually owned. So, but it's like, Banjo-Kazooie. I'm just like, oh yeah, Banjo. It's because Banjo has never left my brain. Even in that time when we lived in Los Angeles, Banjo was still popping in my head, even when I was trying to distance myself from this fandom, this hobby. I could never truly escape. So it's interesting how nostalgia works. And again, sometimes people's nostalgia paints a different picture, and that's why nothing Rare will ever match up to what's in their heads from the golden hue of childhood.
Right.
But just hang in there, Memechi. It's gonna get better. It's getting better.
Yeah, it'll get better. Next call.
Next call.
Hi, my name's Mitchell Wolf, and I was just playing Rare Replay, and I noticed that it didn't have GoldenEye 007 or Donkey Kong Country. And I just I paid $30 for that thing. What gives?
Well, Memechi, shall we talk about intellectual property law? No, not Memechi. MF Wolf. Sorry, I was just like in the momentum of
the Memechum.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to thank you for that call, Mitchell. Come on.
Yeah. When I said you're probably a future staffer, that's been revoked.
Yep. You're wasting all of our time. We could have just not played the call, but it made me laugh, so I wanted to play it.
It is funny, though, because when I was at E3, I think I was talking with it was Drew Quackenbush, and somebody approached him and said, "Hey, is Donkey Kong Country going to be in Rare Replay?" And he was just like, "Oh no, man, sorry, that's not going to be in it." And I just kind of turned to him afterwards. I was like, "Really? Did that really happen?" It's a bit people out there like assume like why isn't Donkey Kong Country in it? Why isn't GoldenEye in it? Like.
Well, Donkey Kong Country should be the more obvious one, because really, who knows what the James Bond rights are? There was a remake of GoldenEye that used Daniel Craig and used all the same levels from the N64, like the same level design, but was like remade.
I mean, they remade it, but it's still,
but it was the same game basically. Yeah,
it was on the skeleton of Rare's work. Yeah, so
it's very, very strange. I don't think anyone really has a full grip on it, but that's probably just a legal landmine that they decided. Oh, we've got Perfect Dark. That was GoldenEye with more of a Rare spin, so let's just put that in there.
Yeah, even it's interesting, the music of Perfect Dark, I forgot how much it invokes Bond, the feeling of Bond. Like the original Perfect Dark, not so much Zero, but yeah, it's...
Well, it's Grant Kirkhope doing... with the same team and everything,
Right, but it's definitely like in that... It could be Bond music in any, like, Brosnan era Bond film, so I find it very amusing how closely they hew to that. But yeah, anyway, it's funny though that the misconceptions are out there. People, you assume, maybe it's just because we live and breathe this stuff, but you assume people would know how it works. No,
right.
Donkey Kong Country can't be in Rare Replay. It's like when those Microsoft execs toured Rare for the first time. They saw the Donkey Kong stuff and they said, "Oh, do we own Donkey Kong now?"
Well, what a world that would be.
Yeah. Hard to say how that would turn out, but
yeah, we'd be doing like our 10th anniversary spotlight on Donkey Kong Racing.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Anyway, I like Tropical Freeze. I'm okay with the way things worked out in the end.
I'm very okay. It was rough there for a while, all across the board. But I think now, like, every branch of the DKU except Star Fox is firing on all cylinders. So,
yeah. Of course, Fish and Chaps is a little trickier.
Sea of Thieves.
No. I know, but it's such a bifurcated section of the DKU because you could be a Fish and Chaps fan, but only for Viva Pinata or only for It's Mr. Pants, or Grab by the Ghoulies. So yeah, Sea of Thieves is great, but what about people who love It's Mr. Pants? Dire times from Mr. Pants fans.
Well, that's true. Although there is a change.org petition to get It's Mr. Pants as DLC in Rare Replay.
I think it's gotten less signatures than our Below-Dozen petition, though, so...
That's true, but it also has a less ambitious threshold because we wanted 1 million signatures for our Chief Blow-Dozen campaign.
But we still want 1 million signatures.
So we have one more call. Let's give it a whirl.
Hello, this is a priest. I'm a holy priest. I'm not going to give you my name because I don't want you to track me down. I would just wanted to ring and complain about the very offensive comments you made in last week's broadcast.
Ooh.
I mean,
Told you, Chad.
First of all, you insult my religion, and then you make insinuations about activities with young boys. I'd just like to say, not all priests are pedos. Now,
It's a hashtag.
that. Otherwise, fucking brilliant show, lads. And I'd like to know, so far, what game have you most enjoyed playing on Rare Replay? Just to keep it on topic. Wink, wink. Bye for now.
I think that was Billy Connolly from the second X-Files movie.
Yeah. The maybe psychic.
No, he was definitely psychic, and he also raped children.
Oh, I thought he was maybe psychic, and he definitely raped children.
He bled from his hands or eyes or something. He was psychic.
Oh, stigmata. They did episodes of... Wait, astigmatism. Stigmatism isn't tied to psychic abilities.
Yeah, but the implication was he's psychic and he's also Jesus-y, and he also rapes kids. So I don't know what the hell that movie was trying to say. That was a mess of a movie.
I just remember that as I was angrily walking out of the theater after that fucking train wreck, Mulder and Scully were in a canoe waving at the camera. I was just incensed by that entire experience.
I remember the whole audience was like half asleep during the whole thing, and then Mitch Pileggi showed up and everybody cheered. And
yeah,
it was probably like the only time Mitch Pileggi ever got like a Beatles on Sullivan-esque reaction.
Yeah,
just because we're desperate for something.
You have a piss poor X-Files movie when the big crowd rousing moment is fucking Skinner.
Well, Skinner's awesome. Everybody loves Skinner.
Everyone loves Skinner, but like it's no, lone gunman showing up in Fight the Future. It's like there are these big character moments, but it's like Walter Skinner to the rescue, hooray! Like if Alex Krycek had showed up as an alien clone experiment or something, like a cloned Krycek, that would have been cool. And also,
but the thing is,
Chris Carter promised Nick Lee that he would be in the next X-Files movie and then killed off the character.
Well, the funny thing is, I don't think Skinner actually did anything except he let Scully use his car. Like,
yeah, he didn't use his bald powers or anything, that only Skinner could do. He basically stood in for an Avis.
Did you hear that the Lone Gunmen are going to be in the 6th episode season 10?
Are you kidding me? Well, I guess they have, because the fucking comic books where they just ignore the Lone Gunman's death is canonized. So
no, they didn't ignore it. They explained it away. They faked their deaths.
Yeah.
Even though they appeared as ghosts in the finale, and those ghosts, those ghosts. Chris Carter now says, "Oh, the ghosts were in Mulder's imagination," but the Mr. X handed him a piece of paper. Like, how did he imagine the address for Marita Covarrubias?
That's right. I forgot that. Yeah, she was part of the whole thing. Ugh, God. And she was like a crazy person and
But she wasn't crazy anymore, and I'm feeling good about the new season, Chad.
I will say that yesterday I saw a piece of news that they've decided to split up Mulder and Scully, so they will not be an insufferable couple. No,
because you got to get that romantic. You got to get that romantic tension back.
Yeah. Well, they didn't seem to. I don't even want it to be will they won't they though. It's like it's already been ruined. Just fucking let it be dead.
Yeah, I mean, just take solace in the fact that Duchovny and Anderson are fuck buddies in real life now, and just.
Why would that give me solace?
Well, for all the shippers out there, not you,
not me.
For all the shippers out there.
Yeah, you're all wrong. By the way, the consummating that relationship ruined that relationship.
No, what ruined it was not acknowledging they consummated it, like playing this coy. Did they fuck or not? For a year.
We saw her get out of his bed in the cold open of an episode.
Yeah, and then it turns out he was sleeping on the sofa. So at the end of the episode, you see he's sleeping on the sofa.
No, I think that's when they did the deed, and that was season 7. So that's when. At the end of season 7, she gave birth to William. So
no. She found out she was pregnant at the end of season 7.
That's right.
She gave birth at the end of season 8 with the super soldiers and the whale
song. Mm-hmm.
And then the three wise men were the lone gunmen.
It's all flooding back. So let's, for the love of God, change the subject.
Okay. Well, thanks for the call, Billy Conley. And we're not going to really answer your question. We're just going to do the episode because I think we'll address it in the episode itself.
Yeah. So
right.
Yeah. What do you think? What do you think about this rare replay thing, Heil?
Well, here's the thing. Mm-hmm. So Rare Replay came out on Tuesday. Now, my girlfriend, my lovely girlfriend Michelle, she currently lives 2.5 hours away.
All right, ladies, back off. He has a girlfriend.
Yeah, back off. Get off my junk, ladies. I'm taken. So, anyway, so we have to see each other once a week. So either she comes up or I come down. Lads, whatever. Anyway, so
this is a fun story.
We scheduled our rendezvous this week to be Tuesday night into Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So she was coming up. So
wait, did you just refer to it as a rendezvous? Could you pick a creepier word for meeting up with your girlfriend?
Dalliance.
Okay, fair enough. That actually is creepier. Well done.
Fantastic.
Yeah, I think the only one worse than dalliance would be tryst, but that has very clear undertones.
Oh yeah. So anyway, I was happy to see her, but Rare Replay is fucking coming out. What do I do? It's like a catch-22, you know. It's like, why can't I be a friendless virgin? So I think I talked to you about it, and you was like, why don't you just show her fucking Rare Replay? Have her play a game. And she's been wanting to be exposed to this world a little bit more. She's wanted to play Tropical Freeze with me a little bit, which we actually did a little bit on Wednesday night. We played some of Lost Mangroves together, and I showed her the ropes. So,
oh well, then she must have really enjoyed playing the original Donkey Kong Country in Rare Replay, huh?
Yeah. She was incensed that it wasn't in it, and also GoldenEye because she's a big Alan Cumming fan.
Mm-hmm. Well, all the good Rare games left the studio in 2002. So
yeah, that's right. Yeah, Alan Cumming left Rare after only one game, and that's when the studio went downhill.
So anyway, what did you wind up showing her?
Well, okay, so I got Rare Replay, and I had to install it. I got it after work, so it was just like this race against time. She was coming up at 7, and I knew it would take a couple hours to install it. Because, let's talk about the installation, because I find that fascinating.
Okay.
So, I don't know if we ever addressed this on the show, but the games for the Xbox 360 are actually a separate installation than the main Rare Replay package.
You sound angry. Are you angry about this? You sound angry.
Oh, absolutely. Well, no, you sense anger when there's none to be had, or frustration.
Okay.
No, I find it's how you fit 30 games onto one disc.
Mm-hmm.
Especially these higher memory games.
Well, and like well over an hour of HD video as well. So
right,
there's a lot on there.
And it's like Kazooie, Tooie, Perfect Dark, because those were recreated for the Xbox 360, and then you've got Jetpack Refueled, and of course Cameo, Nuts and Bolts, Viva Pinata, Trouble in Paradise. So this all installed separately. So I was just going to leave it to I left it to the fates to decide what gets installed first, because you were telling me why don't just download the main Rare Replay package, that way you can at least see see the intro, see all the bells and whistles, But no, I was stubborn for some reason, and I wanted to just wait it out and see what my Xbox One wanted to install for me. So Perfect Dark Zero was the first thing that installed. Apparently, it really wanted me to play Perfect Dark Zero.
Mm-hmm. So did you acquiesce?
No. It was a game.
No, fuck it.
This is how I spent the like 2.5 hours before she came up. I sat in front of my TV and watched attentively as this stuff installed. So perfect. Okay. Like the Banjo games installed last, which I thought was hilarious, and then the main Rare Replay package was the final thing.
And let me just Heil texted me about his plan of just watching his Xbox install things, and I told him how you can change the queue order in which things are. Yeah,
dude, I already knew that. Yeah.
So I am just baffled by this strategy. Is that what we should call it? I don't understand.
Very Zen-like. I know I got accused of bashing religion, but I think if I did subscribe to any religion, it would be Buddhism. So I was very Buddhist about it, and I just let the winds take it where they may.
Okay.
It was fun. It was fun. It was a fun game. I tried to guess which one would install next.
It was a fun game. Refusing to play this fun game.
Well, look, I got a fun game out of it that you'll never get to play now ever again.
As much as I would generally be proud to have scored that imaginary achievement and get imaginary gamer score, I'm okay with that not being part of my life's path.
Well, to each their own, man. I respect your life choices.
Fair enough.
So, anyway, yeah, so it finally installed right when she got here. It, finished. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, figures. So, anyway, we went out to dinner, yada, yada, yada. I'm not implying sex. We went out to dinner. We had vegetarian sandwiches.
So why the yada, yada, yada? What was there besides dinner?
I don't know. We went to the park. We walked around a bit. It's a lovely evening.
Mm.
It's boring to talk about on a podcast, so it's great.
I'm riveted, man. I am lockstep with this narrative.
So anyway, we came back, and she was like, "You want to play Rare Replay?" And I said, "Yeah, I do." And I was like, "Do you want to watch?"
She suggested.
Yeah, and I was like, "Do you want to watch?" And she was like, "Yeah." So
she goes, "No, I just wanted some alone time. I wanted you to be occupied."
So anyway, yeah, she watched the intro. I don't know. Since it's so steeped in Rare history, I don't think she got any of it, but that's fine.
But it's still utterly charming, even if you don't know any of the characters or references.
She got the whimsical nature of it, So when we were visiting her brother in Georgia the other week, he was playing Grand Theft Auto 5, so I think the contrast between the two is kind of underscored the difference in that.
Michelle doesn't strike me as someone who would be into stabbing a hooker with a Phillips head screwdriver and stealing her money.
Actually, she got very into it, and I purchased Grand Theft Auto 5 because she wanted to play it more.
Okay, that's pretty cool. Good for her. All right.
Yeah. I think what won her over was I went around stabbing people that I perceived as wronging me. So, for example, anybody smoking in public, I would stab in the back of their neck.
That's the thing about GTA. It's just it's gleefully anarchic.
Okay. Here's the thing about Grand Theft. This is a quick tangent.
Yeah.
The thing about Grand Theft Auto that I love, and that I don't lump it in with all the beige shooters and just nihilism and violence and stuff that I think is just not poisonous, because each of their own, but I think it's just so depressingly similar, is that Grand Theft Auto is self-aware. Grand Theft Auto is almost a parody of those type of games.
Oh, not almost. It definitely is.
Yeah. I mean, if you just look at the or listen to the in-game radio, or just look at any of the in-universe elements, it's taking the piss out of itself. And
Saints Row actually takes that a step further, and they start introducing. Grand Theft Auto kind of flirts with the edges of plausibility in terms of science fiction. There are some elements, of course, in there. Like in GTA 5, there's a whole thing where you can get UFOs to appear that have the FIB logo on them. But Saints Row goes way overboard. So there are even degrees of parody sandbox shoot 'em ups, which is fantastic, and it's definitely a breath of fresh air in that subgenre.
And also, Grand Theft Auto is colorful. I like that about at least GTA 5 and Vice City and San Andreas before.
Beautiful game.
It's I love open sandboxes. Rant over. Okay, so Rare Replay. I was going to show her Banjo-Kazooie, basically, because I was like, what's the most accessible thing I could show her that would not only show her Rare's brilliance, but also the DKU?
Good choice.
Yeah, Banjo-Kazooie. And so we played Banjo-Kazooie for about 2.5 hours.
She had
and
never laid eyes on this game before.
No,
ever.
Here's the thing. Her family had an N64, has an N64. Her brother, her sister, they all played it. They had Ocarina of Time, Mario Kart 64, all of these games. Never once played Banjo-Kazooie.
Wow.
Didn't own it.
Oh my God.
Which I find insulting, and makes me question her family. But anyway, so her family's actually very lovely, and I don't hold that against them.
They're not going to listen to this. Be honest.
No. So anyway, so the first time she ever saw Banjo-Kazooie, she obviously heard about it and heard me talking about it ad nauseum, but 2.5 hours just flew by, and I think she was utterly charmed by it. And it was kind of cool to see Banjo-Kazooie through a new person's perspective.
Did you just kind of hang back as she would, kind of, because when you start a new game, especially one in a genre you might not be as familiar with, you always struggle a little bit. Did you let her figure it out? She
wanted me to play it for initially. She did not feel comfortable playing it. She wanted to watch me, because video games aren't really her thing. They are and they aren't. She plays them, but she's not a gamer, so she's self-conscious about it. And she got over that thanks to Banjo-Kazooie. She had the confidence to play Tropical Freeze, which is a brutal game. So anyway,
the thing about Banjo is it's even designed for new gamers, really, because Bottles holds your hand through everything, and there's such a gradual learning curve that I feel like really someone who's not well versed in gaming could pick that game up and get relatively far.
Absolutely, but she just loved the aesthetic. She loved, we're both cut from the same cloth, nature lovers, whatnot. So she loved just how colorful it was, just little things like the waterfall coming down, in Spiral Mountain, just appealed to her. And then the character voices in particular, just and how every item talks to you when you first get it. She thought that was just the funniest shit. And so won her over, and then we played Mumbo's Mountain, and then Treasure Trove Cove, and she likes it. So
you
she
should
likes
have
it, Mikey.
immediately shown her Conker's Bad Fur Day, and then just traumatized her after this heartwarming experience.
Well, what we did after that was I looked at all the menus for all 30 games. I wanted to see the menus and listen to. Well, we'll get into that, because that's another conversation to be had about the menus. But she did question Barry when she popped up on.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, well, you gotta understand, Conker's Bad Fur Day is rated M, and it's kind of a piss take in its own right. So
you told her it wasn't serious, right?
Yeah.
Barry is intentionally anatomically impossible.
Right. And she actually didn't know that about Conquer, that it was an M-rated game.
Oh.
She knew of Conquer, but she didn't know that there is that history there. So
That's
that kind of fascinated
that's
her.
a phone call that Jack Thompson wish he had made.
So anyway, she says she wants to see more of Rare Replay the next time we get together. So
Yay!
bully, yay, a new convert. So
Nice.
anyway, that's mostly the time I spent playing Rare Replay, because this weekend is my weekend to play
Oh,
Rare
so you
Replay.
haven't really, like, aside from looking at the menu, you haven't dug into any games yet?
Banjo-Kazooie, that's about it.
Well, oh yeah, but I mean, you played that on XBLA, and it's basically the same thing. So
Yeah, I'm champing at the bit to play more Rare Replay, and quite frankly, this podcast is getting in the way of that. So fuck you, Chad.
fuck me. Come on, I gave you, like, we're delaying our recording by a day so you could have another evening to play Rare Replay.
That wasn't why we delayed the recording. I said that might be an added benefit. But
Okay,
anyway.
and then you did nothing.
To quote Futurama, time makes fools of us all.
So, let's talk about the presentation, the front end, as they call it.
Absolutely. Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
That's disgusting.
How's it disgusting? It's a somewhat of a technical term, but yeah.
The
anyway,
front end is where the genitalia are. God kicked us out of the garden, so we should be ashamed of it.
I sometimes forget. Like, I routinely, I have front end developers and back end developers on my team, but in my job, and
yeah, you do.
I forget that those are innuendos because everyone on my teams have made those jokes, ad nauseum. So we've just all been like, yes, it's hilarious. But yeah, laugh it up, fuzzball. What do you reckon for the presentation, the non-game package, if you will?
Well, we already were familiar with the presentation being out at E3, and I loved it then. I love it now, and now that I can actually sit back in the comfort of my own home type situation, because I'm more of a bad.
Do you live under a bridge? Are you trying to find a creative way to not say cardboard? What was that?
I'm kind of a perpetual vagabond. We've discussed this. I mean, it's like until I get a place with Michelle, I'm kind of just like living out of a suitcase. And anyway,
you must have the worst credit score.
You know what? Nah. I have a feeling credit won't be a thing in a couple years, according to Ron Paul.
Yeah, well, his son Rand. I don't care. I just don't fucking care. I was gonna make some joke about the debate last night, but I just don't fucking care.
Yeah, his son Rand had some very, very controversial opinions about Battletoads Arcade.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, he feels
the wind tunnel is the reason his hair looks the way it does.
Right, and he feels like the rewind feature is a travesty because people need to pull themselves up by their bootstraps. That is the government getting involved in how you play Battletoads.
That's right. Yeah.
So he's a loony, obviously, because I actually really like the rewind feature.
And Ran never used the rewind feature when she got the high score in Battletoads.
So we've talked about the intro. We've talked about the overall style, the circus aesthetic, which is fantastic.
It's not really a circus.
So, sideshow 20s.
Vaudevillian.
Perfect.
Kind of.
That's the word I was circling around. Yeah, vaudevillian. It's beautiful. I love it to death, and
the cardboard aesthetic too. I really like for the characters and like the little things hanging down, and like even the curtain is kind of cardboard esque. The loading
the load screen thing. Yeah.
So it's an interesting art style, and
I also want to commend Rare on having this is an incredibly deep game with so much shit in it, and the presentation, the navigation is perfectly reasonable. And I'm thinking, I'm comparing this to Super Smash Brothers.
They didn't Sakurai it. That's what I wanted to say.
Exactly.
I picked up Rare Replay, and I knew how to get around immediately at E3. But it was even more apparent when I was like showing Michelle all this stuff, just how it made logical sense. It wasn't just a bunch of blobs and bubbles, and stuff wasn't hidden where it shouldn't be hidden, you know?
Yeah, well, they approached it as you would, like, if you're just organizing folders on a computer, you know? Like, these are the 3 things. Games, features, snapshots. And
I would hate to see Sakurai's junk drawer. Can you imagine what that looks like?
Yeah, he literally has hundreds of icons on his desktop.
I do that, though.
Oh, do you?
I view them as like trophies. Like I'm a big game hunter. Like I'm like that asshole dentist who shot the lion.
Oh God. I basically treat my desktop as a scratch drive. If I'm working on like a Which Brothers Bear is Best, sometimes I'll contain assets there that I know I'm not gonna keep them after I make the finished product. I'll basically use that as scratch, and then I will I'll recycle them all. But that's the most I do. I don't treat it as like a no man's land of icons.
Yeah, but don't worry, I do manscape. It's not like it's a mess down there.
So the okay. Have you looked at all at the guide?
The guide? No,
yeah.
I haven't.
Well, it has been revealed on Twitter that that's a Chris Allcock Lee Loveday joint, and there are 20,000 words worth of it.
Oh my God! Okay,
yeah.
Well, that's exactly what I'm doing when we're done here. Chris Allcock and Lee Loveday. Oh my God, that's like a dream collaboration.
Yeah. It's I think what Mr. Allcock said on Twitter was that this is like the latest greatest Allcock Loveday joint since the Cameo instruction booklet.
So have we talked about Allcock a little bit? Like he helped write the Rare Replay intro.
No, he wrote it.
Well, he wrote the lyrics.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't write the music. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Though he wrote the lyrics, though, or he helped write the lyrics.
Right,
he write all the lyrics.
I believe so. I think it was him. Yeah, and he did the achievement and stamp descriptions, and I think like pretty much almost all the written word in Rare Replay is him. So, or at least he has touched it. So,
I just love considering how the lowest we ever felt was probably that episode about the layoffs last year.
Yeah.
And considering that he was a casualty, that really hit us hard. And the fact that he came back for Rare Replay and did all this, it's just like, okay, never mind, we're happy.
Yeah, I know. That was like one of the best things that we learned at E3 was that Chris Allcock is involved in this project. Like,
and we didn't feel like we could talk about it at the time, so we were just kind of alluding, oh, wait till you find out about who wrote this.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he spoiled it by just saying on Twitter, "Oh yeah, I'm working on this."
So anticlimactic.
Allcock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he is Allcock, so he just goes
every time you go straight to the last name.
It's a hilarious name though for a hilarious guy. I wish I had a name like that. Like it's perfect.
Russell, boring.
Well, and my first name is Heil, so people make Hitler jokes. It's really uncomfortable. It's true. It's true, though. I mean,
Hitler jokes, dick jokes. Yeah,
I'd
say you got the worst end of that.
Right.
So, anyway, the guide is great, and I think that I've looked at some of the NES titles, some of the Spectrum titles. It seems like the Spectrum ones are definitely in a more like old school manual writing style, so it may be the original word preserved. But there's definitely like there's a little bit of snark, a little bit of editorial flair in the how-tos, the summaries, even the control schemes on especially the NES games. It's a lot of fun to read. It's a little laggy on the Xbox interface because it's one of those like pop-up Xbox OS things that like pins itself to the side, and that it sort of takes a while for it to load the next page or whatever.
Well, I'm thinking like the manuals on the Virtual Console. How
it's nowhere near that clunky. It's not that bad.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and you can actually. One of the nice things is that if you go to a games page and then pull up the manual, it just pins it to the side, so you can still listen to like the Robin Beanland remixed music while you're reading it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so it doesn't just stop everything, and then you're just reading the scanned page on the screen.
A PDF, literally
Yeah,
a PDF that they're rendering through like a homegrown bare bones Wii U browser. Yeah.
That barely functions. It's like they've got hamsters or gerbils inside your system on a wheel trying to power it. And
Yeah, which is strange because the Wii U has a really good Opera browser. Why not use that? No.
Yeah, but that can barely run so many things like Google, anything Google, like Google Docs or anything, just will not run anymore.
Yeah, that's a limitation of it's for some reason the Wii U. Man, we're getting way off topic. The Wii U forces the gamepad or forces the system to by default use a mobile view if a website has, and of course Google has mobile versions. I don't think they're purely responsive design, but basically it'll launch the mobile version of that. Which
the mobile versions of any of Google stuff doesn't work for me, no matter what I do. On my phone, it doesn't work for me. I'm like,
and it's because
okay.
the gamepad is a touch device, so they think that'll be the cleaner experience. But Google's pages are always so bloated with code to do all the fancy animations and stuff, and the Wii U just runs out of RAM, or at least the part that it's allocated for the browser. So yeah, it's a constant struggle to upload screenshots to Google Drive.
I know I use copy.com now, and that barely functions. I can only do one screenshot at a time, and then I have to like reload.
Ugh.
It's awful. Anyway,
so the Xbox is better than that experience when it comes to reading the guide.
Doesn't surprise me. The Xbox One, have you been playing around with it much since you got it?
It had a steep learning curve navigating.
It
menus.
is. Once you get the hang of it, it's a handsome system to operate.
I think what I didn't understand was that basically the three buttons, I don't know what they're technically called, but start, select, and the Xbox logo. If pressing and holding the three of those will basically get you anything that you want, but sometimes menus are obscured and you have to like hold the start button until something pops up, and that's the thing that I didn't really realize at first.
Right. Yeah.
So, but now, once you know what to do, you can pretty much figure it out.
Yeah, I love my Xbox One. Like for me, it's the best of the three Xboxes, at least experience-wise so far. I'm very happy with the purchase.
Good.
Thanks, Rare.
Yeah. You made that happen. Rare, you guys sold a console. Actually, you sold my console as well. So.
Rare and Team Dakota, but it's all under the Rare umbrella because it was Conquer, So
yeah. So one thing I'm curious about as I've been navigating all these menus, looking through as much as I possibly can, I wonder if there are Easter eggs hidden in here.
I don't know.
Go to a certain page and press a direction, and it'll take you to another part of the menu. Maybe they didn't, but it feels like I'd give it a 50-50, honestly. And we haven't heard any reason to suspect this. It's just something that popped into my head the other day.
The thing is, it's already so loaded with references and whatnot. I think Easter eggs would just be redundant,
No, but something maybe even unconsequential, or inconsequential.
Okay, I was going to say, all of Rare Replay is basically a giant Easter egg, so it's... I don't know.
No, but
maybe.
Why are you poo-pooing on my idea?
I'm not. I'm just trying to look on the bright side when it doesn't pan out,
No, and chances are, it is like an extremely packed to the gills product. Chances are they ran out of time. That's 700 hours of gameplay. They've got to. There's no way that I could beat all this in 700 hours. No, I've sunk. I think the most time I've ever sunk into a single game was like over the span of 3 years of playing Skyrim. I think I got up to maybe 150 hours, 700 hours. I've sunk so much time into Rare Replay this week, and I feel like I barely scratched the surface.
Yeah, for me, Donkey Konga 2, a couple years now, and I'm not proud about it. But anyway, with Rare Replay, it's like the only way you could do this all in 700 hours is if you had that recorder to do blow with, a constant stream of cocaine, your heart would give out before you reach 700 hours. So I cry foul on that. There's definitely more gameplay in here than 700 hours.
Well, the thing is, it's nothing to cry foul about that they underestimated the value of their product.
I know. It just makes me feel inferior because, again, this is why I don't speedrun, because I like to take my time with games, So.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, so that would maybe neat if they're in there, but I just thought it's something that I would like our listeners to just poke around, press buttons and directions on the pad that the game isn't telling you to, and see if you find anything, and then give us a call. Actually, as soon as someone finds something, it's going to be on GameFAQs and on every website immediately. So,
well, it'll be on the if it's from one of our people, it'll be on the forum first. So
that'd be nice.
That's a reason to join.
To get exclusive. So I wanted to talk about some of the games that you might have tried out so far, but it's really only been Banjo for you, huh?
Well, let's talk about the actually going to the games menu, the screen for each game, because I love how Beanland and maybe some of Beanland's associates did remixes for all of the main pieces of the game, but with the Rare Replay song incorporated into it. It's
no, that's not how it is. It's
not.
No. So what happens is there's basically a version of the Rare Replay theme without lyrics that's sort of like a looping, more less boisterous version that sort of serves as background music that's in most of them, like the non-game menus. And by the way, one thing I really love about is they put this sort of crossfade muffle effect whenever the shutters have closed, and then it comes back in. It looks sort of like a low pass filter. It sounds really great. But when you go to the games themselves, it's a completely original composition that has nothing to do with the Rare Replay melody.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're sort of,
because I thought, because I was watching one of the streams, the Rare stream, the first one they hosted on their own Twitch page, and they mentioned that they incorporated little motifs of the Rare Replay theme into each tune.
Oh, okay. Well, then if they've done that, then it's very subtle, and I've got to hand it to them. Yeah, because I didn't pick up on that. But yeah, God, that'd be really cool. It's something I'll need to listen for. But one thing that just warmed my heart. I never thought I would hear another Robin Beanland Jet Force Gemini composition, and I have now heard one. It's a new version of the theme song, but it's fantastic to hear not only new versions of the themes for the games that we love, but also Spectrum titles that never had theme music. He's now written music for them. It's really great.
Yeah. I really would like a soundtrack for a Rare Replay itself. Just have all these little bits and bobs onto one. One disc and one vinyl and one digital release.
Yeah, they had these Vine videos when they first started pre-release on Twitter. They would tweet out these little 6-second clips of some of the music from those menu screens and ask people, which game do you think this is? Like a Tic Tac, and on the video, it was basically a record that had a Rare Replay logo sticker on the middle. And I kept bugging them, when is that going on sale? When is that going on sale? And they took an old jazz record and put that sticker on it for the purposes of the video. But now that we know they're actually, releasing, more vinyls than just the Battletoad, I don't know if they intend to continue beyond Banjo and Perfect Dark, but if they do, that wowould be amazing.
Yeah, well, I want digital releases. I want CD releases if they can muster. I want, because vinyl's fine and all, but it's inconvenient. It's an inconvenient format.
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is.
It's for audiophiles, collectors, and hipsters. And if you just want to consume your music on the go, fuck you.
I get two out of that. I get two of those. Two of that golden triangle. I'd say I've got the hipster thing down via Janelle, and I've got the collector down via my Rare fandom. So I don't know that I'm necessarily an audiophile. I wish I knew enough to call myself that, but nah.
Honestly, being an audiophile, and I consider myself an audiophile a little bit, but being an audiophile, 75% of it is just in your head.
Oh yeah, I don't think that there's something above 192 kilobits per second. The human ear really can't distinguish,
It's like oh yes, this is so much better. Yes, I much prefer this format, this experience. you can't tell a difference, but you're making yourself feel better that you can, and that's contributing to the better experience.
Right.
Fuck you. Fuck you. Anyway,
Hey, Bose and Beats by Dre have made a little hatchet industry out of this whole idea. So
yeah, I know, but I feel like the bubble's going to burst on that soon. So.
Yeah. Anyway, they're great tunes, and also one thing that I really like is watching the animations that just play while you're sitting on each game's screen.
Sometimes they obscure the text though. You're trying to read the text, and then here comes a cardboard cutout, and it's obscuring it, and you're like, okay, can you move, please? I'm trying to read. Can this mummy please move? I'm trying to read this text about ghoulies.
Yeah. Well, one thing that I like about the animations for the older games, the Spectrum ones, is before I knew to pay attention to the help menus, I would learn kind of how to play the game by watching the animation, because a lot of those like Lunar Jetman especially, it's very simple mechanics, but it's kind of hard to tell what the hell you're supposed to do. And by watching that animation, they basically played through a little 15-second chunk of the game.
Oh, you mean those? Okay, yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah, like, where you have Jetman pop up in the foreground, and then there's like a fuel drops, and some enemies are flying by. Not what's on the TV screen. I'm talking about the cardboard animations.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't know what you're referring to, but yeah. I guess you're right there. Yeah. I don't think that really applies for the later releases. Like, I don't think.
How do I play Cameo? Let me watch this 15-second cardboard cutout.
Oh man, could you imagine if they released a new Cameo, but like in a Paper Mario style, like cardboard Cameo?
I would love that.
That game would not sell. That would not sell.
No, that's I would love it though.
Yeah,
I stand by my statement. I never fancied myself a paragon of the public opinion, but
the thing is, our tastes are so esoteric when it comes to what we love about Rare that we've got to acknowledge that that would not sell.
Yeah, maybe not. Still,
like Sea of Thieves, I feel confident about that could definitely sell, but I think cardboard Cameo would be a much harder argument to win.
I hope somewhere Chris Allcock is listening to this, and that just like made his creative juices go on overflow mode. That'd be great if he's like, God, I gotta make it now.
No, don't listen to our advice, Chris Allcock. That's awful. That's awful.
It's bad advice, Chris. It's bad advice. So you don't really have I was hoping that we could talk about our favorite games that we've played so far from the various
Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah,
Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah,
I love that game.
That's your favorite of one. So I approached Rare Replay with lofty ambitions. I downloaded the digital copy because I wanted to be able to play it relatively immediately.
So you don't have a game disc or a box to hold?
No, I haven't bought a physical one yet, but I've been playing the digital just because I wanted it preloaded, ready to go. I got up early on Tuesday morning because it goes live at midnight Pacific time, which would have been 3 a.m. my time. So I got up around 5:36 and got in an hour with Jetpack before work, and it was just Rare Replay was stuck in my head the whole day. It was a really long work day.
It's kind of like I remember when a Donkey Kong Country game would come out, and I would have to go to school, the next day, and it'd be like that's just like haunting you, and it's just all you can think about. It's just like, fuck everything till I get home and play more of this.
Yeah, and like I used to. Apologies for the siren in the background. I remember
our Scottish priest friend is up to no good. Apparently,
he's called in the NYPD on me. They're saying bad things about priests, I don't know what that voice was.
That was the Warp Stone.
It turned. Nobody ever brings me children. So I got up early, and the night before, Janelle said, like, so did you set your alarm? And I was like, yeah, I already did. She even made the analogy I was like a kid on Christmas morning or the Christmas Eve. But I got up, and I had only intended on really
a kid who gets 30 of the past presents he's gotten for Christmas.
Yeah, exactly. You get them all again.
All rewrapped with with new wrapping paper. Yeah.
Yeah, but so I'm the kind of kid, though, speaking of presents, that like on Christmas I would try and like cut the wrapping paper and not just like I wouldn't just claw my way into presents. I wanted to be kind of respectful of the delivery. So I sort of decided that I would approach Rare Replay by playing each game chronologically to my fill, to the point where, because I knew there would be a high frustration component with the Spectrum titles because they're fucking hard.
Well, hell, the NES titles are fucking hard.
Yeah. So I figured, like, all right, I'll play each of these titles until I start to get frustrated, and before I get to the point where I just start disliking them, I'll move on to the next. And I can always go back and jump around. But I started doing that, and then a few hours went by later that evening after I got home from work, and I went to Lunar Jetman, and then I realized that I'm like a few menu presses away from Grab by the Ghoulies, so I went and played Grab by the Ghoulies.
Well, and here's the thing: there's really no wrong way to play Rare Replay. Good God, that's some jumbled sentence. There's no wrong way to replay. It's and the very way this is structured, it's not a traditional game. It's not even like a game collection like Super Mario All-Stars. I've never seen anything like this in all of my time of gaming. Like the closest thing I could think of is like these releases Sega's done, where they've had like a glut of titles, but I think this eclipses that.
This is the gold standard for any sort of game compilation.
And I hope I haven't read any reviews because I try to avoid pissing myself off when it comes to something I know I'm going to love.
There's a lot of casual, Ghoulies snark, but it's getting...
Why? I mean...
Yeah, I know.
Removed from the historical context, there's no reason people should be shit-talking Grab by the Ghoulies.
Agreed, but, that's kind of the lazy... games quote journalism sphere that we live in. But anyway, besides that, no, it's almost universal praise. It's I think on Metacritic they're in like the high 80s, if not low 90s. It's very, very good feedback on this.
Why is it not a perfect 100? Because it's 30 games for $30. Like I don't understand like what you could be critical about.
Yeah.
Unless it's like, are people like making things up like, oh, this game plays, there's lag in this game that wasn't there before.
One of the major criticisms were the controls in Jet Force Gemini, which was patched like 2 days after release. So
was it already patched?
Yeah, it's done. I've been playing, dude. All right, I was gonna go like each era and talk about the favorite one that I've played so far, because obviously I've been jumping around. But
again,
let me talk about Jet Force Gemini.
I was gonna say there's no wrong way to discuss Rare Replay either, so just jump around.
Jet Force Gemini. Oh my God! I mean, I went in and played a little of it before the control patch came out, and yeah, they needed to patch that because it's exactly the reverse of what your brain thinks you should do. Like you're aiming with the wrong control stick and you're moving with the wrong one, and there's no way that your brain can like manage that mind to hand abstraction layer and still allow you to enjoy the game.
Right.
Yeah, it's just completely unintuitive. So they were right to fix that. So I went a little bit through Goldwood. I didn't even get to a combat section, and then I said, okay, I'll wait. Visually, okay, anyone who has a 16:9, like a widescreen TV, the artwork is great, the border that they have, but turn it off and turn on. Okay, so go to the Rare Replay menu, turn off the border art, then go into the Jet Force Gemini in-game menu and turn on widescreen mode. Because you have to do both of those things. Cutscenes will be in widescreen no matter what.
Thanks, Rare. God, no wonder it got high 80s instead of a perfect 100.
But while you're in the Rare Replay menu, of course, turn on modern controls. And I swear to God, dude, like it's so smooth. It's the visuals are so crisp, and this is Jet Force Gemini. This is a fairly obscure for a Rare game. This is one of their more obscure titles. I mean, it and Blast Core were like really kind of cult kind of sleeper hits.
Well, that's the thing. Like it's basically the Ghoulies of the N64 era.
Yeah, but not as unfairly maligned as Ghoulies. It does have its fans at least, but
so does Ghoulies.
Yeah, of course, but I think at least critics weren't as unfair to Jet Force. But like playing it though, I'm a massive Jet Force fan, as you know from our honorable mentions.
We know.
I have never. It's like a nostalgia ice pick into my eardrum, going straight to my cerebral cortex. Like it is. This game, I feel like a 14-year-old playing it for the first time again. I don't know what's happening.
So the unfortunate erections.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening to my hormones. My voice has changed, but I'm not really comfortable with how I sound. And I love Jet Force Gemini. And I'm immediately regretting creating DK Vine 2 months ago. Because I'm seeing it as a huge time suck for me. No, it's an amazing experience to go revisit that title, and the controls, they are so smooth. I've seen people sort of level criticisms about the modern controls, but I don't know, man. I've been playing this game, and every couple of years or so, it may go like 5 years without playing it, but I'll pop it into the N64. This is the best it's ever played. And I didn't ever expect to have this kind of experience outside like an N64 emulator for 5 minutes, and then the controls don't map, and I just give up. But I was jonesing to see what HD Jet Force looked like, so I would do that. And this is oh my god, this is like the absolute best way to experience this amazing game, and I can't wait to get back in. I just can't. I know I'm gushing, but. Fucking Jet Force Gemini.
Well, you're 14 years old, so there's going to be some gushing. You can't help it.
Yeah, right. If only I had that cookbook, I could have saved a bit of money. No, I love this game, and Rare Replay has given me not only the ability but a reason to experience it again.
Well, that's what I'm hoping that Rare Replay, like critical snark about Ghoulies aside, I'm hoping that Rare Replay is like the Trojan horse. It's going to get Ghoulies into people's homes finally, and I'm hoping people are going to give it a shot. Like, oh, okay, well, I have it. I might as well play it, and I hope they realize shit like Ghoulies and Jet Force is, oh yeah, this is fun.
Now, Ghoulies, I think, is served even better from this sort of upgrade that it got. So you haven't played... we played Ghoulies at E3, but you haven't actually played it at home.
No,
right?
Michelle... I wanted to show Ghoulies to Michelle the next night, and ultimately, I think she wanted to see Tropical Freeze more, so we played Tropical Freeze. But I was like, I'll wait for Ghoulies, because Ghoulies is I'm saving that, because that's the game I'm looking forward to replaying the most. And I'm kind of saving it. I want to experience more of Rare Replay, because I know once I start Ghoulies, that's going to be it's going to eat up all my time with Rare Replay. So
it's insane to me that like I have spent time with Grab by the Ghoulies, and there was something else in that package strong enough to draw me away. It's crazy. That's just the wealth of riches that are in Rare Replay. But Ghoulies, as good as I said Jet Force looked, Ghoulies is the best served game in the entire collection. It looks like a game that could have come out today, and that's owing to the way they did the art style, sort of the cell shading, the cartoony look. It's fantastic. And there are these visual effects that they did on the Xbox, like the reflections when you go in the freezer, the ice. I mean, everything just looks fantastic. But seeing it in 1080p at 60 frames a second, it seems like a new game. You're going to love it. Yeah. When you finally get there. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Rare's always been good about always like look at Star Fox Adventures. Looks like it could conceivably still come out for the Wii or even the Wii U. Like they've always been very good about having games that are always like a generation and a half ahead of their time visually, you know?
Right.
So
Yeah.
but of course, then they also polished it up a bit, and so it doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, but it's really great, and I haven't really played anything else yet from the Microsoft era. Janelle played Viva Pinata the other day.
For me, Viva Pinata is like such a time suck. Like I would think like for me, like that's what's so inconceivable about Rare Replay for me is that both Viva Pinatas are on there, because I just think of those games as those are games you would just play, day and night, for years on end. The fact that those are just two games out of a 30-game collection, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I never played Trouble in Paradise, and I only played a couple hours worth of the first Viva Pinata, not enough to really sink my teeth into it. And with Nuts and Bolts as well, I think I only played about maybe a third of the way through that game. So that whole Microsoft era, like post original Xbox, a lot of the 360. While I did have that, we were really working on like our TV show, and then there was the Los Angeles stuff. So that was kind of around the time that we really stopped getting all that involved as much. And so I'm really looking forward to digging into those games that I have, especially Cameo. Cameo is one that I only briefly played, and I'm so looking forward to getting into that again.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Like, as massive as Rare fans as we are, we still have blind spots, especially like both ends of the spectrum, if you were, because the early stuff, pre, Rare, and then the Microsoft era stuff when we were kind of sleepwalking through life. It's exciting. It's exciting, and I can't wait. Yeah, I don't know.
I want to give a special shout out to Solar Jetman on the NES.
I'm sure he appreciates that.
Yeah, you hear that, Jetman? You're our latest silverbacker. We're gonna get him to take over an episode of the show. No, it was really, I played Jetpack and then I played Lunar Jetman, and Lunar Jetman, I'm still kind of confused by it. There's a lot of shit going on, and there's a teleporter, and there are girders, and there's a bomb and a lunar rover, and aliens that are like polygons that are flipping at your face, and it's really hard. That and Night Lore, I'm still not sure how to play those. In Night Lore, Saberman kind of jumps around like a bunny rabbit, and it's like a side-scrolling platformer with Saberman. Uh-huh. It's really, really hard, though. I still can't get my mind around those, but Jetpack, I think, is the favorite that I've played from the Spectrum. It's just very simple arcade-style gameplay that still holds up very well. And I played that. I played Lunar Jetman, and then I skipped ahead on the NES. Of course, I played Snake Rattle and Roll, which I loved as a kid on the Game Boy, and then came to know the NES one. Sneaky Snakes was the Game Boy version. Uh-huh. So that was like one of those nostalgic things for me. But I had never played Slalom, which I found out that I really liked, which was Rare's first NES game. And then I played Solar Jetman. Solar Jetman, it starts you off in this like explore mode. And do you know anything about it? Have you looked at it at all?
I mean, I looked at the menu, but like my experience with Jetman is just the first Jetpack,
Yeah, so in Solar Jetman, you basically like explore a whole bunch of different planets with your spaceship, and you fly around these like cavernous areas of the planet, and the gravity is always different, and you have to sort of recover parts. But if your little spaceship pod takes too much damage, it'll blow up, and then you'll just be Jetman, like on your own, while aliens are trying to hunt you down, flying around to get back to your base so you can get another pod. But a lot of it is just exploration, just flying around alien worlds in a spaceship, and it's so much fun, and the physics are really good. I love Solar Jetman. I never thought that there would be like an NES era revelation for me out of Rare Replay, and that's definitely one.
I'm looking forward to playing a lot of their NES stuff, just because a lot of those games, like I played, it just like it's funny because Elliot like owned a lot of those NES era Rare games, And of course, we didn't realize they were rare games until we would go back after Donkey Kong Country and see that, you know, we actually like paid attention to who made games after Rare, and then we see Rare made them and we'd get all excited and it'd be like, what, Rare made this? What? And and it'd be games, you know, we had already played, but, you know, we would go back and re-examine them, and there's, you know, holes in that library. Like, definitely I want to check out some of that stuff, because it's just, I want to fill in the gaps in my own like Rare knowledge, and this is like such an easy way to do it. It's fantastic.
Yeah, and I know at E3 we played some of RC Pro-Am 2, because it has the actually has a 4-player mode.
Yeah,
it was one of those games that supported that crazy NES, you know, control splitter dongle
that nobody owned.
right, but you know, thankfully now it's on a console that natively supports 4 controllers, and you can play with, you know, 4-player NES game on the Xbox One.
Right.
It's pretty cool. It's a little surreal, but it's excellent. One thing that occurred to me though, playing, because I put in a little bit of time with RC Pro-Am, and then I went to RC Pro-Am 2, and I'm thinking, I mean, we already basically spoiled the Jet Force Gemini plot on our Honorable Mentions episode previously, so I'll get into the end game, but, you know, skip ahead about 5 minutes if you don't want to have Jet Force spoiled.
We're going to talk about this for 5 minutes? Okay.
I'm just being safe. Realistically, I'm going to talk about the X-Files for 5 minutes, so skip ahead 10. So basically, at the end game of Jet Force, the big twist ending is that King Jeff, the king of the tribals, his brother Barry, the two of them collaborated on an arcade racing game called Jeff and Barry Racing. And later on, you actually get to play Jeff and Barry Racing, and it's basically RC Pro-Am. Just the camera is more pulled out, but the gameplay is essentially identical. And so then you find out at the end that there's a derelict RC Pro-Am 2 arcade machine, or Jeff and Barry Racing 2 arcade machine, and then at the end he's like, he sort of goes on this tirade when you realize that Mizar was Barry, King Jeff's brother, the whole time, about how like Jeff always got the attention, it was always Jeff. And it's ultimately like about Jeff and Barry Racing 2. So I'm wondering, maybe this is too on the nose, but if there was ever any strife or conflict between the Stamper brothers about RC Pro-Am 1 and 2 that maybe the Jet Force team sort of obliquely referenced, but maybe that's reading too much into it.
I think, that's just conspiracy theory level now.
Now I sound like Alex Jones.
Yeah. Now you're going to make a documentary proving that the Stampers were actually rivals, and one was hiding inside a giant insect, and Elvis is alive, and Paul McCartney is dead, and
it's the Lost Testament of Chris Stamper. The voice just like, eventually it's just going to turn into Shrek. That's the only impression that I'll be able to do.
A Shrek that molests children.
I know it's not a popular opinion, donkey. Trump 2016.
Do we have anything else to say about Rare Replay right now?
I love Jetpack. Yeah, if I go by era, so of the games I've played so far, Jetpack's my favorite from the Spectrum era, Solar Jetman from the NES, Jet Force from the N64, Ghoulies from the Microsoft era, but I have only played maybe 7 games out of the total collection, so I need to dig in a little bit more. I think you do as well.
Digger T Rock.
I haven't played Digger T Rock yet. I booted it, and I got the achievement on accident, and then I backed out because I realized I didn't mean to start the game because I want to give it time. That's one thing that I think a lot of people are racking up achievements by, like, starting the game, backing out, starting the game, backing out. And that goes back to how I would, like, fold up wrapping paper. Like, I want to respect the game. I'm not going to boot it just for a cheap achievement unless I can give it a little bit of time to give the game itself a shot.
Do you still have that wrapping paper, by the way? Like, do you save it year after year?
Yes, it's in my parents' attic. Oh. Yeah, I always said I would reuse it. I never did, but I think maybe one day I will.
That was my least favorite V.C. Andrews novel. Folded wrapping paper in the attic.
I don't get that reference.
I'm not going to explain it then.
It's stronger for it.
That's it's not even an erudite reference. That's a reference to a shitty novel that never mind. Anyway. Replay.
You wouldn't be around books all day, would you?
just books about incest, basically.
Oh, okay. Ew. What? Ew. What kind of a bookstore do you work?
Flowers in the attic.
I don't.
I explained it to you. That all I can explain. It's a book about incest. It's great.
Flowers in the attic. Okay, I know Flowers for Algernon. That's a different thing.
No, there's no incest.
I've been reading the Game of Thrones series for the last year and a half.
There's lots of incest in that.
There is quite a bit of incest in Game of Thrones. Yes. So have you gotten into any of the bonuses yet? Like the videos?
Haven't unlocked any. I've got like I just by playing Banjo, I haven't been able to unlock any of it yet. So
Oh wait, you didn't. So when you played Banjo on the XBLA, back in the day, it should have attached all your achievements to your gamer tag, and then you get stamps based on those as soon as you go to that game.
Chad.
Yeah.
I that was when I was away. I never played the XBLA.
Oh, you didn't do the XBLA version?
No, I have them downloaded on my 360. I just never played them.
Oh man. Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, you've got some catching up to do. I automatically got a bunch of stamps for Kazooie and Tooie, and so I got to watch more videos than I feel like I've earned, which is strange. It's like I want to earn this content, and now they're all on YouTube, like already. You know, and that's kind of a shame.
Well, that's
really.
what Sakurai complains about. That's why he didn't put cutscenes in Super Smash Bros. 4, because they're all up on YouTube. What's the point?
Okay, but he has less of an argument because those were narrative cutscene, like the ones from the Subspace Emissary. These are special features that I feel like are self-contained little nuggets. I mean, I think Rare would have more reason to be disappointed in that than Sakurai.
Maybe that's why he didn't have cohesive menus, because they're all up on YouTube. So what's the point?
yeah. People will figure out how to navigate them anyway. Just watch a YouTube tutorial.
Yeah.
No. Anyway, it's I've seen. Of course, what makes a Rare game.
Don't spoil this for me, though, because I don't want to be spoiled. This is what I'm looking forward to the most, and this is what I'm going to get into tonight. So,
have you even looked at what games they have makings of?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I've unlocked, I won't tell you any content, but I've gone through the What Makes a Rare game. I've seen the Banjo one, Conquer, Killer Instinct.
Miller Instinct, they have one just for that Donkey Kong Land 3 level.
The Donkey Kong Land 3 level, yeah. There's a making of Red Dwarf, which I was surprisingly few cat people in that.
Yeah.
I think that's got to be a Love Day level. It's got to be.
Well, Donkey Kong Land 3 has the most like piss-takey names out of any Rare game. Like, it's just...
Yeah, they don't even really have anything to do with the archetype of the level itself.
They're just terrible puns. And then they just called the casino the Sheepy Shop, which is just such a like in-joke that like we didn't get it until you actually went to Twycross and tried to storm the property.
And I noticed that there was like a sheepy road.
Yeah.
There's got to be a sheepy shop. Yeah, I really Donkey Kong Land 3 is one of those. It's one of those ones that came out when the hardware was in a transition, so it was. I feel like they sort of knew there would be fewer eyeballs on it, so they had a little bit more idiosyncratic fun with it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, but that's a game that's not in Rare Replay, alas. Much to the chagrin of Mitchell Wolf.
Much to the chagrin of that guy who approached Drew at E3. Because I'm sure when he asked about Donkey Kong Country, he specifically meant Donkey Kong Land 3. He just misspoke.
So, in watching the video, the featurettes, I pretty much knew the story of Banjo.
The featurettes were my favorite Phil Spencer girl group in the 60s.
I pretty much also knew I'm just going to move on.
You're just ignoring me at this point. Yeah.
I'm just steamrolling.
I'm just doing my own show at this point.
Yeah,
Off in the corner
these are in parallel. Yeah. I knew the story of Conquer, so it was amazing to actually. Well, I don't want to spoil who shows up.
Yeah, don't spoil it.
But when I got to the Killer Instinct one, I didn't really know the story of that game's development as well. And watching that featurette, I sort of like I could feel my face just like smiling and just getting stuck there. It was amazing to just, this whole collection has made me feel like a child again, like in the best possible way. And
stay away from Billy Connolly.
Yeah. It's just it's fantastic. It's utterly joyful. It's really great. I can't say enough positive.
It's the Criterion collection for Rare fans.
It's better than the Criterion. It's so much better than what anything Criterion could do.
That's because you're more of a Rare fan than you are anything from Criterion. You're more of a Rare fan than a Wes Anderson fan.
Yes, but I feel like the Rare Replay has more additional content than the Royal Tenenbaums Criterion DVD set does, and I've watched through that. This is something else. This is a new bar that's been set for any sort of thing. And what's great is that we could not be closer to the intended audience.
Yeah, well,
it's amazing. It's like made for exactly people like us who have been curious about all of this stuff our entire lives.
Here's the thing. This is my closing thoughts for my first impressions for Rare Replay, because I'm sure I'm going to have a lot more to say about Rare Replay.
You've scratching the surface would be charitable. I'm excited for you that you've got so much to dig into.
Digger T rock into.
Yes.
What I really appreciate about Rare Replay is that this is, Rare always takes a concept and makes it better. So, of course, they take the game compilation concept, which is, I don't even know if you could call it a concept. It's not really.
It's usually it's seen as a cash-in.
Yeah, but they take it and they perfect it. They make it. They don't half-ass anything at Rare, and true enough. I mean, say what you will about Connect Sports, they never half-assed that. I mean, that's like that's the ultimate game in the model of the Wii Sports kind of era of games. It's
it's basically what they used to do. They would take a Nintendo archetype and make it better, and they essentially that there were of course original titles like GoldenEye, which was a new idea for console shooters. Jet Force Gemini, third-person shooter, same thing. Viva Pinata, really nothing like it. But there is also this history of taking an established concept and perfecting it. Connect Sports was no different. It was just kind of in a different genre than Rare fans really wanted to see out of the studio at that time.
Right, but less dredged up from that era, the better, as far as popular opinion goes.
The zeitgeist.
Yeah. So Rare Replay is just, when I heard the rumors, we heard the rumors about there being a compilation of Rare games coming at E3, and I wasn't that enthused at the time. Because I just pictured a static menu. Oh, I can play Conquer, I can play Banjo, which, don't get me wrong, it's fantastic to play those games, but I was just thinking something in Super Mario All-Stars vein, where you might have a funny little menu screen, and then you just select from a menu, and that's it.
Slightly updated graphics and
yeah. So I didn't really get my heart fluttering. Of course, why was I underestimating Rare? Because this is just the Rare way to do it. It is taking a concept and giving... there's a reason why in the Donkey Kong Country games you could always get more than 100%, because Rare always gave more than 100%. This is giving 105%. This is what that's doing.
They've put in the harder and toughest codes.
Absolutely.
And this is their Karate Cranky statue.
Look at the fucking intro song. Why go through with the effort to do this when it's a $30 game? 30 games for $30.
From any other company, this would be shovelware.
Yeah, and
this is the kind of thing that you're trying to cash in on when you. But that's not what Rare has done or did in this case, or will continue doing,
or ever did.
Or ever did. Yeah, exactly. This is a Rare product through and through, and as a result of that, it is the greatest gaming value. And the snapshots, we didn't even talk about the snapshots. Okay, you need to. We're going to talk about this for a few weeks. So clearly, there's enough to sink our teeth into. Yeah, you got to dig into some of this so we can talk about like the rewind feature, the snapshots.
I'm going to.
I'm so excited. I want to shut the fuck up and go back to playing it.
Well, why don't we do that?
Okay, bye.
Bye.
This has been a File 2 production.
Que rico.
Never could be any other way.